Hi there, boys and girls, Brucey here, and in today's video I'm going to talk about templates and why having a template is crucial to speed up your workflow and help you with your creativity. It's all about saving time and being able to get the ideas that are in your head straight down without having to wait for your computer to do things, but also without having to keep repeating the same tasks that you do probably every time you open a project if you're not using a template. The way I like to think of a template is it's like my studio. I walk into my studio and I'm able to flick on one switch and all my synthesizers, guitars, keyboards, bits of software recorder are all ready to go. I don't really have to go around switching on individual things, connecting things up. It's all laid out, straight to go, switch the switch on, and I can be recording in seconds. And that's the principle I like to apply to the template I have. I have a number of templates. This is my main template that I use. It has all the basics loaded in and ready to go. So straight up, I'm in, I load it in. I have a piano there and a piano which is feeding some reverb. I have a couple of different drum tracks. I've got Easy Drummer loaded in. I've got Logic Drummer, so I can get a drum beat going very, very easily. I have Easy Bass. As you can see, my bass is here, a couple of different keyboards, Keyscape, Alicia's Keys, which I really like, and Spitfire Labs. I also have a number of guitar channels set up, ready to go. So again, I can just plug my guitar in, or the guitar's already plugged in, can just hit record, and I can be recording in seconds rather than having to keep creating new tracks and losing the momentum of an idea. Same with vocals. I have a couple of vocals set up. So again, this template can be used for other things. I could use it, for example, if I was recording a podcast. I just load up the template, boom, hit record on the vocals mic, and my mic is set up, all ready to go. I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to keep creating new channels. The same here. I have a couple of my soft synths loaded up and ready to go, and these are a couple of channels for my external synths. So if we switch over to the mixer view, you can see that my approach I mentioned earlier about thinking about this like a studio, this is how I work because I came from a hardware background, but this is all my bits and pieces of gear in this setup, all loaded in. I have all my sends ready to go, and on my sends I have a couple of different reverbs, for example, a couple of different effects. So I don't have to keep going in, selecting, going through my plugins, trying to find the plugin I want. You know, even if I know where it is, it can take seconds to find that and load it in. And if you keep repeating those tasks, you are not making the most advantage of your time. You're wasting time. You're also taking your time away from the creative headspace. And whilst it might seem like it's only seconds, you add that up over a day, over a week, it starts to become minutes, if not hours, of doing the same repetitive tasks, which is something you don't want to do. I have some window sets set up in Logic, so I can switch between the different windows. You can, of course, do this in other DAWs as well. Again, it just takes away seconds of time of having to keep fumbling around, double clicking on things. I'm adding it to the key commands so I can switch between the things that I easily and often need to use. The other thing as well is Logic is very customizable. So I also have my custom toolbar set out with all the functions that I normally use, all the buttons that I normally use on a daily basis. All the things I don't use are hidden away. Even elements such as my default tempo, which I really like working at 80 BPM, is set up so I'm good to go. The metronome is ready to go, and I can be up and writing in seconds. And as you know from my channel is all about workflow and getting your ideas down as quickly as possible. Also, this is the method that you'll find most of the big Hollywood composers have. They have much, much bigger templates because they have all of their sample libraries already loaded up. So we could be talking thousands and thousands of tracks of contact players and sample players ready to go. But again, it's all about saving time. It might take a little bit longer to boot into a template. That it might even take half an hour, but that could be half an hour when you're doing your email or in the shower or whatever. You load your template up and then you come in and you can work. And you can save yourself a ton of time. You're not really scooting around trying to find plugins or load plugins in and browsing and being distracted. You are just ready to go. Like I said, your studio is switched on and ready. I have a couple of different templates, as I mentioned. This is my kind of standard template, which opens up every time I open up Logic. So I can open Logic and this template is there, good to go. The other way you can do this is, particularly on a Mac, I'm sure you could probably do this on a PC, is when I have this as a login action. So when you boot up your machine, it boots up Logic and you have a piano sound ready to go, because that's something that really, really frustrates me. opening up Logic, waiting for Logic to open, having to then go in, go file, new track, new software instrument, blah, 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 add in the keyboard. And even in that 10 seconds it takes to do that, I feel like I could perhaps lose the momentum. It's there. So I like to have a piano sound straight in, ready to go, ready to play. And having templates enables you to do this. I also have another much smaller template, which is just a piano template, which again takes a nanosecond to open. Just go here, my quick start template. Here we go, ready to go. It has my favorite preset already set up. It has my send amounts set up to my reverb. So I'm good to go. Also, let me just turn that off a second. The vocal there, as you can see, the vocal mic was ready to go. I've got my piano roll window ready to go. Everything is good. Everything is there. Just as I need it. And as you saw, it took a nanosecond to open. The other thing you can also do, let me just go back to my other template. As you can see, this one takes a little bit longer to load because it has a few more plugins in, but everything is loading. The other great workflow tip is to have presets set up on all of your plugins as well. You can either have these as defaults. I tend to have them as default presets. So here I have my master bus EQ. I have a high pass filter here and a shelf. I've turned off a couple of the bands and I only have 2 bands active because that's kind of all I really want on the mix bus. I know I'm going to be filtering out stuff below 30 Hertz because it's all just sub bass and energy that I probably don't want in the kind of productions that I make. And I also like to tail off the highs a little bit, probably because I come from an analog world. And I'm not sure I like very brittle highs in my mix, so I kind of filter those out a little bit. So this, again, is ready, set up, ready to go as a preset. If we go back to the mixer window, close this, we can also see that having your own presets is a really useful thing to do as well. Let's just load in whatever this preset is here. So again, that's a pad sound. It loads in the plugins that I want to use. And so you can also set up your virtual instruments to have your favorite preset good to go. So here, for example, this is a preset that I created on Sculpture. Let me select the channel. A little bit of a signature sound for me there. It's just a user preset that I've saved and I've set it as the default and it loads in straight away. Now, some of you will argue, and this has been argued many times on the internet because it's the internet and that's all people do on the internet is argue, that having a template forces you down one track. Now, I'm kind of in agreement with some of the aspects of that when it comes to creativity. If you stick to the same template, then your ideas may start to sound or become similar because you're focused into a way of thinking. But it's so easy to just create multiple templates, as you've seen that I do. I have a multiple of different templates. Just load in different instruments for different templates. But of course, what you'll find you'll do anyway, regardless, is that you'll probably gravitate towards certain instruments anyway. So even if you're starting from scratch every time, I'm going to guess many of you will be going for the same instruments that you really, really like. The secret to that and getting around that is actually saying to yourself you're going to pick an instrument that you haven't used for a while or maybe never used and you've bought and never really used and just use it on a track. That's the way to get around that. It doesn't change the way that this template system works. Again, to me, this is not necessarily about the instruments here. It's about the routing. It's about coming into a studio that is already set up and ready to get running. Less important are the instruments. They can be changed out very, very simply. And again, I might change those out for different settings. So there you have it, templates. Absolutely imperative and crucial for speeding up your workflow and getting your ideas and getting your music down and finished. I can't recommend them highly enough. Spend an hour, 2 hours setting up a basic template. Your template will grow over years. You can already take a track you've already been working on if it's already set up the way you like it, save it as something else, delete all the audio, all the MIDI and everything out of it, tidy it up, and then save that as your working template. I guarantee you 100% this will speed up the amount of time you spend faffing around. You'll be more productive and you will get more music finished. I hope you found that useful. I've been Brucey. I will catch you later. Take care, my friends.